All right. You are definitely live, which is pretty crazy. I need to figure out how to get a link off of this, and then I will be able to. There we go. There's my link. Hopefully. And let's see if this actually works. And I apologize to everyone in advance for the terrible, terrible quality of all of this. So, posting now to Twitter. So, let's see how this all goes. We're going to start in about 10 minutes or so. It's the most riveting video that's ever been done, I know. All right, so that's that with that. We're going to find out pretty soon if anyone's actually going to tune in and see my draw, as it were, on your website. Nothing else. This will be on YouTube forever, so that's no pressure whatsoever. So, you know, it's all good. I have no idea. There's way too many options on this thing. Look at this. How many freaking things they have here.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It's not cool. It's not cool at all. So, I don't do much.
But you look authoritative.
So authoritative. That is true. Close all that. I have no idea.
Colors are pretty.
They are, but I don't know what they're for.
Me neither.
Yeah, I probably should have investigated any of this before I actually started, so. Oh, good.
Searching for a face.
Searching for a face. That's some deep stuff. Yeah, I got this whole thing, searching for a face.
Eyes without a face.
I don't know what that means. He wants me to draw. I'm not going to draw stamp text. I'm not going to do any of this sort of stuff. I don't know what any of that actually means. So, this is a total experiment. I don't know if this is going to be the first of a million of these that I do, or the absolute last dead and crash. So, we can actually see this on this. If you can, you should ask me. You should put something in the overall comments there.
I think it looks like a kitty cat.
It does, but
Are you okay with me saying things?
I have no idea if I'm okay with these anything.
Okay.
Legitimately have no idea, because there's no precedent for any of this sort of stuff.
Okay.
It'd be great if you could get this off my actual screen, but I'm not going to do much of anything with that. I'm adjusting my own audio level, which is fantastic. And hey, as of 9:35, there's no one actually here. That's the easiest thing that you could. It's the easiest way for me to know this was a disaster. So it's way. I'm sure this means all these links mean a lot to people who are savvy, as it were. It seems like there's no way for me to get rid of this stuff. So what are you gonna do? Questions? Yeah. I can't tell if anyone's watching. If you're watching and you're on Twitter, let me know. I know how to get comments on Twitter. We're going to start. It's 9:25 right now. We're going to start in about 5 minutes. I have it up on the screen. I got the closed caption on. I got the sound down. I got the headphones in. I did. Okay. I got wine here. I got my backup drink behind me because why not? Why wouldn't I? We're going to watch the first 2 episodes of the show. You can see great. If you can't, we'll go over that as well. Many of you are tweeting that we got links here. You can see that we've, and then you've seen the actual comments. So I've done a little bit of Periscope, not much. I've done lots of live tweeting. Never done this, but this is my favorite show of 2014, so I thought I'd give it a try. Dun, 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 dun. Da, da, dun, dun, ba-dum, bum, bum. So, 0 viewers. I can do whatever I want right now. Figaro. Looks like I've got audio, which is great. There we go. Finally got rid of the stupid thing. So now I can't draw goat ears on me, which I guess is a good thing. We're at 9:27 right now, so we'll start at 9:30. Let's see how it goes. I have a face made for tweeting, some would say.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll live with it. No, it's just weird. I'd rather look at the screen. So if you see me a lot looking at this, eventually, when all of you, the millions of you watch this later on YouTube, you will. Hey, got someone there. What is up, Eric? I didn't see you.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Good. I had no idea how you joined this, but awesome. Welcome.
I saw the link. Was I not supposed to click the link?
I guess you were supposed to click the link. I didn't know anyone was going to join. I don't know how any of this stuff works. I literally am just in a whole new world here. So
I'm joining an experiment.
very cool. Hey, Holly, I see you there as well. I see your icon.
Hi.
What is up? All right, so good. Now I'm not going to be talking to myself. This is wonderful. I didn't know who could join. I'm not, this is way too participatory. I don't like talking to people.
I wasn't expecting it either. It was like, you're about to be on video. I was like, shit, what?
I'm so glad. I'm like, I knew I had to wear clothes, but now I feel bad for anyone else who comes on and is like, I'm going to be, whoa, I'm on the internet. So what are you going to do? So it's funny, 'cause Holly I met. Eric, I only ever tweeted to you, but what's up?
And not much, I know.
And you and I are both like the biggest extroverts in the world, I know. So this is the
And yet we are apparently real people, which you can never tell when you're introverts. But
You know, we are not tweet bots. Who knew?
Yes.
So, anyway. So I don't know if people can watch and not join. I know that this is going to be for afterwards. Again, this could be a horrible, horrible mistake. But I'm going to watch You're the Worst, which is all good for me. So, I don't know if you guys have your episodes queued up or not.
I do.
Are you past the ads or not, Holly?
I'm not past the ads.
All right, get to the clinking champagne glasses. At least, for all of us, if we're going to be talking about this stuff, at least we should be somewhat in sync. I imagine that the commercial breaks will be as long for the three of us, even though they might be different ads targeted by Google to target our particular brains. I don't know. So this is more high tech. This is way too high tech. I've never done a Google Hangout, and this is very intimidating. I think I could probably break into NASA on this thing. I'm not sure how it all works. But
I'm getting ads for American Ultra, apparently.
American Ultra? What's that?
The, Kristen Stewart and,
Lex Luthor movie.
yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know if you. I had Mr. Robinson ads. I'm not gonna watch the show. I'm sorry, NBC. But they did have a line where I guess he plays funk music, and a woman in the audience says, "I think I just got funked." So that's the level of humor in that show. And I somehow don't have a job in Hollywood writing television shows. So it's 9:30. I honestly can't tell if anyone else here is. I can't tell on my sort of viewers It says I've got 0 viewers, but I don't know if I'm broadcasting live, if this is going to be recorded later. Don't know how any of this is going to work. So,
I'm all queued up.
You're all queued up. Eric, what about you?
I'm stuck in ads right now. So.
Oh my God! So when you get to the champagne glasses, let me know, and then at least 3 of us can start, and at least we can have sort of a semi-conversation. Again.
Hey, there's my face.
What is up? Hello. So I guess for later it's going to show us different how it all works. I don't know how Google's done. They probably have a drone outside my window right now, trying to get me from the back, get the better view, get the rest of my bald head. So.
Okay. All right. I think I'm through. Hold on. I should probably put headphones on for this. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me grab my headphones.
All right. Cool. Holly, it's like we're back in Austin.
I know, except I don't have any beer because it's Monday.
You don't have any. What's Monday have to do with alcohol? Is there a rule you're not supposed to drink?
No. I'm like the lightest weight drinker, so even like 1 beer, and I'm like.
Oh, you're sleepy.
Yeah.
That's good, silly. So I was Then my better half and I just got back from like 1,000 miles of driving in the last 4 days, so I'm already a little bit loopy. So I've got wine, and I've got, I guess I'll call it trash juice behind me. So so again, what we
Don't
got?
call me trash juice.
No, you're not trash juice. No, it's my drink. You're not the trash juice, please. So what we're going to do here? So I'm going to sort of, I got the Hulu looked up, so I'll probably just count us down. And I guess if you're watching this in the future, you can count down. We're going to watch the pilot, and we'll probably sync it up again to watch the 2nd episode. And that's as much as we're going to get through on tonight. So I'll probably count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right. So I guess one of the first things I'll say is that I did not like the pilot of this episode, this series. I did not like this series when it first started. I was very anti. You're the worst. I don't know if anybody else, Holly or Eric, you were like instant fans or it grew on you. What were your thoughts?
This is my first time.
Oh, your first time? Oh boy, this is a terrible way to watch. You're not going to understand a damn thing that's going on. What about you, Holly?
I think it took about 4 or 5 episodes before I really super loved it.
Mm-hmm. Probably the same way. There's probably the brunch episode that really got me to it, but yet I've watched this pilot a couple times since, and all the ingredients that I later learned to love are there, including all the the great dick pics we got going on right here from our protagonist. So it's it was something that I think that when you get pilot season, you get all those episodes. I think a lot of them blend in, and you are, at least me, I am instantly against shows. Those that they'll win me over. I'm not like, yeah, this is going to be great. Mostly I'm like, this is probably going to be terrible and off the air in 6 weeks. So we have this. So I didn't have a lot of thoughts going into it. I didn't have a lot of expectations. The first episode didn't really do it for me, and I kind of forgot about it for a while. And it took about 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm like, wait a second, this show actually might be good. Then I'm like, this show is actually great. And by the end, I was like, forget it. This show is my favorite show of the year, and that's why I had it as my number 1. And we're getting a lot of it right here, the sort of the caustic, acerbic nature of the show coming out right now. Hey, first Aya Cash shot. So that's history right there. Is there a particular character or anything that you locked into, Holly, for your viewing that was like, all right, this is a show I can actually log into?
I think the character that I first liked was Edgar.
Okay.
I think in the first couple of episodes, before I warmed up to everybody else, I really, really liked him. And I still liked him by the end, but everybody else had to grow on me.
Yeah, I think that the secret to a good show is if you've got the ensemble kind of going. And I think that Desmond Borges and Heather Donahue were sort of the secret weapons for me. Not that the leads weren't great, but this when you have that more well-rounded show, when your leads are off camera and you're still enjoying the show, that seems to me sort of a great marker of what a show can actually be. So now we've got our meet cute, as we've got out here. We've got Jimmy here trying to smoke a cigarette, and we've got his soon-to-be sex partner / maybe love of his life, Gretchen, bumming a cigarette off of him. And this gift actually becomes a running joke throughout the show, what she actually stole from this wedding. So Just the little details. Again, there's a lot of callbacks, there's a lot of visual callbacks, a lot of joke callbacks that are just sort of the sign of what you can do in this modern age of TV, where you've got these 10 episodes or 13 episodes. You can pack a lot of stuff and really think about what you're doing. You don't have to worry about a 22 episode run with an hour long, and just 8 to 10 episodes are just pure filler. So that's a really good thing for people to worry about. Also, these two are about to have so much sex and so much graphic sex that it is somewhat surprising. So if you're watching this and you're a prude, maybe don't watch. But just it's a fair warning for kind of what's coming on here a bit. But it seems like the season 2, not that I've seen any episodes in season 2, but it seems like it's building up to that sort of as well with the quote-unquote butt stuff that they're talking about in that trailer. So, again, this is the first time you're watching it. Sorry, Eric. This is going to be a really weird way to watch it, because you're going to hear me, and you're going to see the two of it. Yeah, here we go. All right. Fair enough.
Wow.
So it's, yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's this is not your, you're not going to have this on PBS. Probably.
I don't think that I knew that FX could show this kind of stuff until I watched this.
FX maybe thought no one was going to watch, and now it's on FXX. And I guess maybe it was on FXXX. They could show even more. I bet no one's ever, there we go. No one's ever made that joke before. I'm sure I'm the first person in the world to put the extra X at the end of all of that. So fair play to me. All your royalties can kind of come my way. So now we get this whole sort of first night, and it's great with all the shows. Okay, about the build up about the rom-com. It's going to usually take till like the 9th episode maybe of the first season for our heroes or our protagonists to get together. And here they're getting together before really right after the opening credits. And they've gotten together in about 17 different positions in the time I've done this sort of monologue. But it's really a testament to the sort of chemistry that Chris Gere and Aya Cash have together. That there's just, you kind of buy into it right away, and that you understand they're a good couple almost before they do. And that kind of sets the tone, and it sets the boundaries. Because if you don't buy this first night, you probably don't buy the rest of the series. It's probably a good series, but it's not one that you're going to really invest in. Because so much of what follows afterwards is the two of them almost steadfastly running away from what's obvious to not only them, but the rest of us as well. You have your friends as well that are going to be integral to that, and they bounce ideas off of that. So, is someone playing a piano? I have no idea what's going on. Someone's playing something. That's fine. It's Google. They all know what we're doing anyway. We're just recording it for them. You were playing the piano. There we go. I don't know who you are, but awesome. You're playing the piano. I have like the Q&A open. People have questions. I can answer stuff. I don't know if it works that way. I don't know how to talk without using hashtags. This is very difficult for me overall. But yeah. Also, visual composition in this show becomes the blues and the way that it turns on the 90 degrees. It's a sneakily well-shot show, and it doesn't have to be. I got the scripts with Married, and Married is a very intentionally shaggy show that doesn't call attention to itself visually. But this is a show that really does pay attention to visual composition as well as joke construction and callbacks. So, one other reason to really dig this show. And Junior's Place looks really cool by night and looks totally different by day. So, really nice work they did on that. So.
I forgot about the CPAP machine.
How can you not? I mean, it's the sexiest part of the whole sex montage. I mean, I was fine until then, but then you get to the sleep apnea stuff, and it's like.
I just caught up on this show recently. I got my first ad.
First ad as well. Yeah. So, oh God, it's Gotham. Ah, man, we went from about 10 to 1 really fast. That was unfortunate. So, sorry, Holly, I cut you off.
No, that's fine. I just caught up recently, and all of my friends have been watching it live, and I didn't realize that Jimmy was British. And for some reason, it totally, affected the way that I looked at the jokes and everything. Like, I had heard a lot of the jokes, but then to actually see them on screen and coming from a British guy as opposed to an American guy, it was actually sort of strange.
Okay. So I had one ad, and now I'm back, and now Jimmy's making... he's not making breakfast. His buddy's making breakfast there. So This is our first introduction to Edgar, so we got him on there. And I think, as you pointed out, Holly, I mean, Edgar is such a wounded soul in a lot of ways, and it's a character that could have been played for broad laughs, but they take his trauma seriously, which is another part of the show. And I think there's a lot to be, I mean, in the annals of characters in television last year for whom mental illness is treated not as a joke or as a facetious thing or a small thing that you kind of point out to and then dismiss. It's based into the character, so it's nothing the show had to do, but the way that Jimmy treats Edgar is funny and yet horrifying, and the show calls him on it throughout the season, especially as it gets into that sort of that third arc. Because what Stephen Falk had talked about was that the pilot's its own beast, and then it goes into sort of three episode acts, and those acts are all directed by the same director, and they're tonally related to each other. And so it's a brilliant way to sort of think about the season. It's a great organizational structure. And I think that while you should plot and having things be mechanical isn't really always a good thing, to have that as a backbone upon which you can lay lots of random shit, that's probably a really good way to go about that. So, and now we're learning all about the film, book, and all sort of the we haven't even seen the hip hop group yet. What's the name? I can't remember the name of the hip hop group right now, but they are fantastic. The one that Gretchen manages.
Oh, I remember his name is Sam. I don't remember what the name of the group is.
Yeah, but they are just fantastic. Everyone, and another thing, all these characters sound like their own entities. They don't say, Sam, Shitstain, and Honey Nest. Thank you. There we go. Shitstain. How can I forget the name Shitstain? That seems like it should roll trippingly off the tongue, as the bard might say. You're going to find that I'm really terrible with details. Like, you'd think I would have done research for this, but no, I just drank a bottle of wine and said I was going to do a live video of the thing. So, yeah. Hey, all right. So Heather Donahue, National Treasure, is now on screen. Lindsay is a force of nature, to say the least, and it's an ensemble of four. And I think that the group Chistain's a great part of it, but these core four are enough for the show of the scale to build around. And rather than go expansive, you don't have to go Game of Thrones to mine some deep drama. And so the relationship that these two have between Gretchen and Lindsay is deep enough. Same thing for Edgar and Jimmy. And the way they ping-pong off each other forms a lot. And for 10 episodes, it's more than enough. And the show goes deeper rather than wider. And that's a very strong thing for a show to do, especially in its first season. I mean, you look back at like Lost Season 1. It's a bunch of character episodes. And you didn't know anything about the numbers or hatches or anything like that until well into that. And some would say it was down for that, but at least you had that basis to go through. So it's really hard to like talk constantly about all this stuff. So if anybody has any questions or any sort of thoughts about what's going on right now, please share them yourself.
I love this show. Can you hear me?
I can. What's your name?
Nichelle.
Nichelle, nice to meet you.
Have you noticed the similarities with this show and Catastrophe? Have you seen Catastrophe on Amazon?
I have. I watched it over a weekend about a month ago.
Yeah.
The adult way in which people talk frankly about sex and relationships, and they know the tropes, and yet they fall into them at the same time. Is that what you're mentioning, or something else?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like adult rom-com.
And you need that, even though there are adults in like Hollywood comedies. They treat you and the characters like they're a bunch of teenagers, and that isn't always the way to. I'm trying to think of something. This is more like the equivalent of like a Before Sunset, Before Sunrise. A lot lewder and cruder.
Yes.
but the ways in which it deals with those things. Here's one of the things that really dropped off from the rest of the series. This neighborhood kid. This kid from they tried to introduce like a smart-ass neighbor to almost like about a boy plot, and I really didn't respond well to this, and they kind of dropped him like a bad habit. He comes back, but it no longer becomes. They realize it's not working too well. At least I think. I don't know anything behind the scenes, but his this character is one of the few marks to cliche that I think the show actually leans into rather than zigzags away from. So. I like that Jimmy never wears pants outside. I respect him for that. You know, pants are difficult, so go for him. Good for him. Wait a second, is this Colin Farrell's kid from True Detective? I hope not. I don't know. I mean, maybe this is a factory of kids like that. So, but it's got the video games thing. It's it's a funny ass show. It's such a funny show. I mean, that's the thing about it. Oh, here we go. We finally get Shit Standing Company. We get Correction Inner Elements. She's trying to lock down the rap video, of which I know a lot because I'm down with the hip hop community. Not really at all. I actually don't like shows about Hollywood in general, so the catastrophe thing actually it sidestepped it nicely. So it's another thing that they've got in common with that particular show. I just don't know. There's very few things I'm less interested in hearing about how everyone in Hollywood is a narcissistic a-hole. I guess I've heard that. I live out in Boston. I've got no connections whatsoever. I just watch TV, and I want to see good television. If a certain actor or a showrunner is a jerk off, I don't care. It doesn't bother me in the least. I guess I was kind of interested in the whole Good Wife thing with the green screening because that just seems so super bizarre. But in general, I don't need these people to be anything other than good at what they do on screen. So if Dan Harmon's a jerk, he's not a jerk to me. I don't care. If he's a jerk to me, I still kind of don't care because I don't know the man. So it works out nicely that particular way. So we're about halfway through this actual pilot, and I haven't watched much of it, I will confess. I've seen it a couple of times, so I don't have to necessarily do a one-to-one comparison of this, but it's an experiment all the same. I really want to. You find there's a lot in this pilot about the ways in which they are finding themselves, because there's so much about this. They film a pilot and they go away for a couple of months. They don't even know if they're going to continue with the particular show. Especially now, another about pilot season, people felt, especially Instagram and Twitter and all those things, the minutia documentation of what people do for pilots. That they film these things in February, and they come together like TCA or whatever for these press junkets, and then they're their BFFs, and they're like, yeah, we're about to film the second episode. And I don't know how you can possibly create continuity or have anything good for that sort of length of time. You can't possibly pick something up and be like, yeah, we're good, especially on a comedy. Where so much of it, I'd say about 80% of it is just the cast chemistry. If you can somehow cast this correctly, the writing, it's not that it's meaningless, but if you don't have that underlying basis of people, that's why a show like Cheers, you don't have that camaraderie between that cast, which is really, it's just an alchemy. You can cast it to a point, but otherwise you just have to hope and pray. The basis of that doesn't matter. And so in these four characters, Stephen Falk and company cast them really, really well. I like that they're not really particularly well known. I know Aya Cash is in a couple of things, and then Wolf of Wall Street especially, but when you can come to a show and just meet them as these characters, I think it helps a lot. So Catastrophe was the same way for me. It's the depth and breadth of shows in general that, Unreal is a great example of this. I knew Constance Zimmer, but everyone else was kind of a blank to me. So I can come to them as these particular characters. I think that's only going to increase as, by the time people read, or see this video, all 8 of you, HGTV might have an amazing show. And like 25 people you've never heard of, because I'm going to guess, even though I don't know a lot about Hollywood, and apparently everyone's narcissistic a-holes, there's a lot of really good talent, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And so you're going to get increasingly more and more people who you will discover in these roles, and that you can, the accessibility of that. If you had someone like, I might even try to think who you can actually get. Maybe James Corden. Maybe if James Corden was the lead in this show, it still might be a little bit of a barrier, because I know him from Gwen Stacy and other things as well. There's just that, there's always that level of, if a show is really good, you can always, just suspend your disbelief. But it really helps you if you've never seen them before. And so a lot of these characters, holy crap, it's a V-neck. Sorry, I forgot how deep this V-neck is. It's like down past his navel. That should not be legal. I don't care if it's California. I know they're really progressive out there, but that V-neck is offensive on every formidable level.
Except Jeff Stoltz.
Except what?
Except Jeff Stoltz.
Jeff Stoltz, yes. Jeff Stoltz hasn't passed his crush. I don't know how he quite did it. He's a Broad City guy. Is he the is he the one from that episode of Broad City? I haven't seen. I gotta confess, Broad City is one of those shows I wish I liked more. I love those two actors, and I love he's the guy Abby pegged. I know exactly what you mean by pegged. The pegging area. We got lots of pegging references right now going on in the comments, and I'm just glad I could bring this to the internet. You know, I'm doing God's work here.
Broad City, apparently.
I don't know, because I'm sitting on a very comfortable couch and I don't want to think about pegging right now. It's the opposite of what I'm doing at this moment. So no, I saw Lip Sync Battle actually before this, and they were really, really funny, and they're very talented, obviously. And I respect the hell out of that show. I don't glom onto it the way I do other Comedy Central shows. Maybe I need to try it again, but it's possible that I just it's fine if the shows just pass over me. Like, every time people get upset that I like a show, they don't, or vice versa. I just don't get how it affects their lives and they wish to perform. I'm doing all this, and I understand that not everybody's going to like You're the Worst. And that's okay, because I really love it. And to be honest, your love or lack of love has got nothing to do with it. You want to share with me? Great. If you don't like it, watch something else. Tons of other stuff. I love that the Difficult People. I've not seen Difficult People yet. I plan on seeing it. I like Billy Eichner a lot. I will see how he is as the center of a show, as opposed to something on Parks and Rec. Even Billy on the Street's a little bit hard for me to take in any more than a 4 or 5 minute segment. So, again, personal preference. But this show, I can just, there were 20 episodes. I probably wouldn't have been as good, but I would have watched all the episodes as well. By the way, they're playing Borderlands, and Borderlands is a really good game. I'm terrible at it, but it's a really fun game. So, but that's, this summer's been great. On Unreal, I've had Mr. Robot. I've had, I'm trying to think what else. Catastrophe was really good. I'm watching the hell out of BoJack Horseman right now. I love the living hell out of that show. That show it's probably not exactly good for my mental health, but it's so good for my mental health. That's the point. That is a dark, sad show that just wants to be loved, and I want to love it. So, all right, and then one more commercial right now. I got another Mr. Robinson ad because I think I did something to God, and the woman just got funked again. It's still not funny the 3rd or 5th time that I've heard it. I feel bad for Craig Robinson. Super funny guy. He's in that show, and he just can't be happy about his lot in life. And I'm happy that You're the Worst got on the first. He was on the splash page of my Hulu. I don't know if anybody else. I don't know if it's going to be a just for me or for everybody else, but it's a good. I think it'll be one of those shows, kind of like Inside Amy Schumer, where everyone just got really glommed on, including me. I liked season 1. But I wrote a review for the AV Club about saying this is something special. And everyone else luckily agreed. And now it just won a TCA award, and it's a Peabody award, and it's kind of going. I do wonder for this. I don't know if moving FXX is going to work in its favor or not. But it's something that everyone's talking about that right now. They're not begging for interviews anymore. That this is on their radar. It's a critically beloved show. And I think John Landgraf this past week in LA was saying there's like 3 metrics. I think it's ratings, critical analysis, one other part of it. Basically, 2 out of the 3 have to work for them to say, all right, we're going to renew something. It's not just about the ratings alone. So last year, a lot of us didn't think this was going to have a chance. And that would have been a good one-season type of show. And I like the ambiguous way in which it ends. And I'm not going to spoil it, because at least one of you, this is the first time you're watching it, so I won't spoil that. But there's a great, great way it ends. Nothing's easily resolved. Nothing's about its path. But what I like about especially with Gretchen and Jimmy, is that these are 2 people who have consistently not tried and have taken the easy path out or resisted working harder at something. That's actually what I like about BoJack as well. And most of the shows that I like, Enlisted, Review, where there's I hate nihilism for the sake of nihilism. Just don't. I'm so sick of it. The idea that stuff gets dark in the way that the demarcation of quality of what quality is life sucks. No, I don't believe that. It's one part of it. It's one way to express it. But if it's all you got, you give me 2 or 3 episodes of that, and then you got to give me some thread of hope. Otherwise, I'm going to jettison you into the ether and move on from there. And so Gretchen and Jimmy are people who look into the sort of that chasm. We got Gretchen here in her giant tub that you can sink into it and drown. That was the Lester show would do. And they try. And when they try, it's not that everything is magically healed. Everything is not perfect at that point. They just realize that that's a choice they make, and the next day they make the same choice. And those opportunities keep offering themselves, and they kind of go from there. I just love these shots here with Gretchen in the white tub, Jimmy in his blue room. It's visually just cool. I think it's a nice palette that the show uses. It's a very flat LA stuff, and then we'll go to that. Oh no, they keep saying the name of the show. Yeah, I mean it's the pilot. They want to have people, tweet about it. Hard enough to tweet "You're the worst" or YTWFX or any of the stuff that they do. It's all. I gotta imagine most shows when they're named, the next thought is how can we hashtag this? I think about this like the Bastard Executioner. I guess it's going to be TBE, but no one's going to know what that means. It sounds like you mispronounced TBD. Terriers. Well, yeah, Terriers, Cougar Town. There's lots of shows that just have absolutely terrible, terrible titles. True Detective, I could say, is a pretty terrible title. So we're coming to the end of the finale here. And I think it's worthwhile to think about this shot here for the end of the season, without giving anything away. I feel like they knew where they were going, and that there's a continuity to that. There's like a bookend between the last shot of the season and this. I just love the way that Chris Gere's like his face, like this look of surprise, and like the way that she kind of like works past all of his boundaries, and vice versa. I catch a smile there, which is gorgeous. Like it's just it's the corniest thing to play vulnerable. And like I love U2. U2 is a corny ass band, and they never were cool. And a lot of their stuff sucks, but they were always willing to be open. And I love that about this. That there's this chance of like, this is going to be terrible, and we're going to try anyway. I think there's something beautiful about that. I think every couple has that, whether or not they're as extreme as Gretchen and Jimmy. You got this close up here and the 2 smiles on their faces. I mean, I don't know how I didn't fall in love with this right away. Maybe it was the kid that bothered me, but it's a lot of fun. It's just a fun show. It's a dirty, filthy, but ultimately sweet show. If you don't have that sweet part of it, I guess I like it. Maybe I'm corny. No, I'm definitely corny. I'm definitely lame. So the show's right out there. Once again, you got everybody, get them facing away. They're facing the same city from different places, and that's the end of the pilot. So. I guess this actually automatically plays. I don't know much about Hulu there. It's just up next in 31 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pause when it gets to that point, and then we're going to have everyone kind of resync up. I know the commercials are a bit weird for different people there. So, but yeah, that's the pilot of You're the Worst, and it's pretty fab. Any questions while we're queuing up to the next one? Any thoughts about that pilot or?
That was awesome. Thank you, Ron. I'm not going to be able to stick around for the second episode, but I was glad to get to watch this with you to see what you liked it. So, thank you.
Good to quote-unquote meet. All right,
yes.
we'll talk soon, man. All right, so I got now FX's. I got the FXS originals. I said FXS already. We'll see. I'll pause it when I get to the actual. All right, my streaming is should be. I got one of those smart TVs that's not being very smart right now, but also, by the way, I gotta say while we're playing through the ads, the fact that I pay for Hulu and I still have ads, it's one of my least favorite. It's the most first world problems, but man, it's gotten to the point where if I think they're trying to get to an ad-free version of this. And they're like, would you pay $15? I'm like, I'd pay $50. Just stop playing ads. I don't care at this point. Whatever you want to do to take away these ads. They've conditioned me to the point where I'll pay most anything, which I know is their plan, but all the same, pretty weak. They probably have better selection than Netflix, but their interface is less than ideal. So And it's being really staticky right now, which is really upsetting me because I guess my internet at home cannot handle me talking to you and talking to streaming this on Hulu. Okay, so I'm going to pause this up right now. I don't know if anybody else is ready. I don't know, Holly, are you good?
I'm ready, yeah.
Is everybody else on there? Give me the thumbs up. I can see some of you in there. If you're ready for episode 2. All right, we got you. Everyone else? All right. So we're going to start episode 2 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right. So now we're in episode 2. Sultry electronica playing, says my closed caption. So I will just take their word for it that this is sultry electronica playing. This is probably not the crappy EDM concerts I see playing on Palladia, which make me feel so old. Like when I see David Guetta or something playing the 80,000 Brits, and they're all like, yeah! And I'm like, no! So, again, this is filmed way after the pilot, and the continuity issues are a little bit here. You see some of it, but it's not too bad. This is when they kind of go out. I believe this is the episode where they go on the dinner where they have to have the shared table, which I thought was a pretty neat idea for the two of them to do. So it's the first foray into normal dating for them, and it's episode 1 of this 3-ep first act in which they kind of are feeling each other out. So very much still, all right. In our first masturbation scene of the episode, probably won't be the last because this is You're the Worst, but I appreciate how sex positive this show is because both of them, there are quote unquote taboos being done here, but it's treated in a way which it should be treated. And it's interesting to think about in terms of the John Oliver episode this week. We're talking about sex ed in a way that sex is taught as this thing to be feared and avoided rather than, enjoyed and dealt with on a responsible level. So, hard to say in terms of, then again, it's a masturbation contest, so how responsible they're being is up for grabs. Oh. You all right? You good? My dog's yawning over there. He's clearly not interested in this at all. But that's fun. Yeah. Playthrough. There are so many great quotes in all of this. Like the way that it's a very, very quotable type of show. And not just the trash juice from the last episode, but there's lots of. Hey, we got our first shot of the credits here. I love this theme song. I don't know who it's by or anything like that, but it's the sort of pop punk, and it's in and out, and it gives you the overall mood. Really, really fun. Donald Trump would definitely hate this period talk. I completely agree. He would say it's coming out of or whatever, so he would not enjoy that. I want to keep politics out of this stuff. That seems like a bad way to keep up with page views. So I could do it, but it seems like the road most traveled and most trampled upon. So Holly, you were saying that the British accent is you of the opinion that sort of like the British accents make everything sexier? Because I'm pretty much of that opinion. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. It
made everything funnier.
And funnier too, as well. Doesn't make everything funnier on Downton Abbey for me, but that's just I gave up on Downton Abbey a long time ago. Although a certain car crash was pretty hysterical, but probably not for reasons they actually intended. Just saying, I know that show still exists, and I guess it's going to a last season, and a lot of people were sad about that. Not so much, but again, to each their own. It's what it is. Right. The whole the Ferris Bueller's Day Off monologue. Pretty fantastic. I love the deconstructions of this stuff like that. The show does a lot of things that Community does in terms of the pop culture references and the meta nature of things without somehow offending me. I'm not sure quite how it does it. there's an episode later in the season in which Desmond Borges and Heather Donahue, their characters, talk about how they realize they're sidekicks in the overall story of You're the Worst, but they never say they're sidekicks in a television show, and maybe that's how I justify that versus Community, where Abed would say, "Oh, we're in a television show. We are doing a bottle episode," things like that. I'm fine with referentiality as long as it doesn't, call attention to itself. And that conversation about Ferris Bueller's Day Off actually delves into the actual episode and what these characters are going through. Therefore, it's okay. And who doesn't like a Ferris Bueller reference? I'm not against it. Again, not wearing pants. I don't know how I missed this so much the first time through. Okay. Now I got the two women doing their torture of the local froyo guy, where they have about 20 ounces of free samples and then leave. I could not do this scam myself. I would feel too self-conscious. Maybe now is a good time to talk about Heather Donahue's outfits in this show, and the fact that they should all be in the Smithsonian. They are just works of art in general. We just saw her husband for the first time. I believe the first time. I don't think he was in the pilot. That whole storyline, this guy, it turns out it really sort of emotional, I guess is the right. Yeah, it's an emotional type of thing because his character does a lot of things you do not expect that character to do. And I'm very much looking forward to what happens between these two characters, how it plays out in season 2. The trailer seems to indicate they're going to play that up, which is good. And so it's the kind of character that normally would get a few lines and not really be thought about, but they did think about his arc, they did think about his interior life, and they did think about what he was doing off screen. And there's only so much you can put into an actual episode of television, but the ways in which you can bake in things, whether it be through props, whether it be through costume, whether it be through a camera pan, whether it be through sort of like a billboard, but you can pack a lot of information into certain episodes that at least lends you to depth, and I think the show does that pretty well. Hey, here's our kid again. He clearly got a haircut. He wanted to impress Flo from Progressive, who's about to make an appearance here as the local bookshop owner. And
takes me out of the action every time she shows up.
Again, it leads my credence to, there's still the cat of Breathless eventually. Where, again, when you have associations, I feel bad for that actress. I don't know her real name, but she's Flo. She's always going to be Flo. She could be an Avenger. She could be cast in the next Avengers. She could be in Infinity War, and they'd be like, oh, it's Flo from Progressive is now in the Avengers. That's the way it's going to go for her. I feel bad. And there's lots of people like that. There's lots of, I don't know if people have any people like that where they have actors where they just can't associate them with anyone else. Like Jewel State's always going to be Kaylee from Firefly for me. So I don't know if anybody else has any characters like that. They're just like, that's it. That's all they're ever going to be. I hear type Rob Hubble. Rob Hubble? What was he for you? What was he on? Human Giant?
Yeah, inconsiderate talking guy. He did an ad. Yeah, he did a lot of commercials in the early aughts before he broke through.
I feel like Hurley from Lost is always going to be Hurley from Lost. Like I feel bad for Jorge Garcia, but like that's just where every time I see him, I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's Hurley.
Y50, and he's just still Hurley.
Is he still Hurley? Did they call him Hurley?
No, his name is Jerry, but he's still Hurley. I mean, he's still on the island. It's just he's a conspiracy theorist.
Is he a conspiracy? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Are there any like snide references to the numbers on Hawaii 5-0? There must be.
I don't know. Well, because they have so many Lost alums on there. I mean, Daniel Day Kim is also a regular, and Joe, what's his name? His name is Joe.
I know Terry Locke was on the show. Terry O'Quinn was on. Terry Locke. Good God. That's a terrible. That's not good. Yeah, Terry O'Quinn was on for a while, and so everyone's on Hawaii Five-0. It's a good gig to have. So now we've got Gretchen in the office with, I think, supposed to be like Ariana Grande, or I don't know who she's supposed to be parodying exactly. I don't know what the kids listen to today. I think it's teens, hashtag teens. That's good. Yeah, let's go with that. Hashtag teens. And I like some of it. You know, I know who Taylor Swift is, so I got that going for me. I listened to a song from the Hot Hot Heat, and someone said I was 13 years old. So that's new music to me. I'm turning 40 in the fall, so everything to me is old at this point. So I know who Ed Sheeran is, and I know a couple of the, I guess there's a cheerleader song on the radio, but this is now where I'm at. This is my life, so it's a little bit depressing. I'm up with TV. I can only be up with TV, music, or movies at once. And music kind of fell by the wayside, which is weird because I used to always be, like Mr. Mixtape and all that stuff. And I used to listen to all the radio and know all the songs and had all of them. I spent all my money on music. And at some point that went away. Gretchen would not like that because she reps music talent, but it is what it is. Talking less and less about the episode. Clearly, trying to actually talk about the episode is a fool's errand. It's if you're watching this, you like the show. I haven't really commented much upon the action, especially in the second episode. But we're about to get to, I believe, what's going to be the group date. My ad is totally frozen, so I'm not sure when it's actually going to start up again. So we'll figure all that stuff out as it happens. So all right, great. Now I got Tom Bergeron yelling at me. So I prefer the blackness. Let's put it that way. I got America's Funniest Home Videos telling me what to do. I haven't been on Hulu actually in a while because most of the shows that I will watch, I have on DVR, so it's less of a thing for me. Catastrophe I did watch on actually Amazon, so that was good. The last show I watched on Hulu that was a Hulu exclusive, I'm trying to think about. I guess I'll try the Menu Project when it comes back out. I didn't watch it that much when it was on Fox, but I'll give it a try, see what the new version of that is. But maybe The Wrong Mans was the last show that I watched on Hulu. It was a Hulu exclusive. But they announced a lot this past week in LA, so they're getting into the industry as well. All right, so now we're back to the episode first for me. We got Gretchen and Jimmy on their date, and they're trying to navigate the worlds, as it were, and we're about to get the communal table, which personally to me actually would be a nightmare as well. I don't think that it feels like you're on. That's why I don't do a cruise. Like I feel like you're going to be on a cruise with like 8 people you don't know all week, and that just sounds like more like punishment rather than a big deal. But that's just me. I am my own. I'm talking to the internet. I feel very comfortable talking virtually a monologue this way, but I'm not going to. Hey, let's all hang out. A couple of years ago, there was a Cougar Town event in Boston that I hosted. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, I know you from Twitter." I'm like, "Ha!" And I ran away, doing like the sort of the Hawaiian punch through the wall, leaving my Orion-shaped hole through all that. So,
I mean, to be fair, Twitter is scary, so you don't know who that person might be.
Exactly. So I got 17,000. It was great when I had a problem with my bank and they wouldn't let us cash our insurance check. So I used the fact that I had 17,000 followers on Twitter to scare them. They didn't know. They weren't really going to do anything about it. But that seemed to work because within 5 minutes I had a bunch of emails and phone calls from people who wanted to tend to my every need, which is a bit weird. I don't want to abuse that too much, but it was fun all the same. I got to meet people. If people like what I write, either on Twitter or what I write in my articles, great. Mazel tov. That's why I want to do it. I do it for me, but I want people to read it. I want people to like it. I don't make it isolatory in that respect. So a lot of it would be Jimmy in this scene is very much what I would actually say. I would just say it a little bit less loudly than he does. But there's the idea of going to a place like this and being super hipster. I mean, I'm a pretty meat and potatoes chain restaurant kind of guy. On anniversaries or whatever, I'll go somewhere nice. But by and large, if I go to a place and I feel like if I touch something, I won't be able to, and break it, I won't be able to afford to pay it, I'm going to be very much out of that. So, again, why LA? I mean, this is a stereotype of what LA restaurants might actually be. So, shows about LA in general, again, on my back. There's so much against this show that I probably shouldn't have liked. These first episodes have, the kid in the first episode, the LA lifestyle in this episode. It evolves beyond that, but even now, knowing the characters, so much more of this is much more palatable than it was the first time. And now all the fights about the Pelazoni, what that actually even is, and also about the Cloaca and all that fun stuff. So it's, oh god, nightmare. Again, just watching this, I'm getting social anxiety just watching Jimmy's social anxiety with all this. So, but I like the. Again, what this episode underlines is a lot of the quote-unquote social trappings, the things you're supposed to do, have nothing to do with your actual happiness. And the way that it embraces difference is a lot of fun for me to watch, because it's not unrecognizable. It's not like these people are like, yeah, we're different because we like to kill people and skin them and eat their flesh. That might be too far out there, even for me. But it's the ways in which you have to be happy, even though all of society is telling you that you shouldn't be happy for these things that make you happy. That's a super hard thing for anyone to come to grips with. Whether it's something you like artistically, sexually, politically, whatever that is, there's enough antagonism. People just love to, without having to express what they like, tear you down for what you like. And that's just, basically the comment boards, right? The message boards. The ways in which it's like, I don't like this thing. Well, what do you like? And then you get crickets. I don't have a use for that. Now, Holly, were you at the You're the Worst in Austin? Were you there for this panel?
No, I was saving seats at Friday Night Lights for everyone.
See, you'd already seen that. That's the wrong answer. I know. We have to reevaluate our friendship right now. That's the one thing about the Austin ATX television festival this year that I regretted missing. Was the FX comedy block, and really specifically this cast in general, seeing them sort of talk in Austin in front of a crowd. That would have been a lot of fun. Didn't go this year, went the last 2 years. But they would have been, they just, again, they seemed like a lot of fun. It would be a lot of, it would be an interesting thing for them to talk about. They just, they're very much a very small show, and they want to have people, they just seem to really enjoy what they do. And I don't know them personally at all, but it seems like a fun group, and I'm really looking forward to seeing new episodes when they again. I'm sure I'll see the episodes before they air in September, and I'll write about them, and I'll review them, and I'll probably podcast about them and all that jazz. But I want to save them for a bit, because it's really a special show, and I almost don't want to rush it. In this day and age where you can watch most everything on demand the second you want to watch it. Watching something on a weekly basis is really good. What about Married? I'm disappointed that Jane Slade is not returning. I've seen I saw the first 3 episodes of Married, and she was in those, and I liked them. I didn't like the first episode, I liked the final 2. The second 2. I thought they were pretty good. I think they were a better way of conveying that the married couple actually liked each other. That Nate Faxon and oh god, I can see her as clear as day, but can't think of her name. They actually liked each other.
Judy Greer.
Judy Greer. She was an Ant-Man for 3 seconds. Her, clearly. She was in all the movies for 3 seconds. I thought they actually liked each other and weren't just bitching at each other. I thought they did a better job of doing that. And I have the 4th episode on DVR. I haven't watched it yet, because I'm watching this, obviously. And a whole lot of BoJack Horseman, which is my new crack. So we got a big fight here now between Jimmy and Gretchen on the hallway, where they're kind of reiterating their low their loathed nature towards traditional dating. They're just a fun. It's a lot of chemistry, and I don't know how you. I'm not a casting director. I mean, it's easy to see it, and it's easy to not see it. But I've seen enough casting videos to like not be able to piece together this tape, and this tape, and say, all right, this is how these two things are going to mesh together. I've luckily never done that. I did a little bit of directing in college, but that doesn't count. During a theatrical production of Romeo and Juliet when you're 22, it does not count to sort of figuring out chemistry. But you know it when you see it. And we don't have a lot of those couples. We don't have the Bogarts and Bacalls, and some would say the Tom Hanks and the Meg Ryans, although You've Got Mail is one of the most horrifying movies I've ever seen in my entire life. So I wouldn't count it for that necessarily, but these two actors have that chemistry, wherever it is, and it's like almost anti-chemistry in terms of the way that they are sarcastic, but they just both actors do this little thing where they just portray their characters' loathsomeness and their cynicism, and just show that sparkle in their eyes. And I don't know how you can't write it. You can't say show the sparkle in your eyes, otherwise everyone could do it. But I don't know. I watch this show and I root for them despite them self-sabotaging at every given turn. They're drinking beer and they're having Chinese and they're drawing everyone out of the theater, and they're being kind of a-holes, but they're beautiful a-holes, and they're our a-holes, and that's a really fun thing for a show to do. Now we're a commercial again, but that's the thing. I mean, they don't have to be likable; they have to be understandable. Likability, Breaking Bad and other shows have proven that's bullshit. That's besides the point. You would think that it would be of the point if you're doing a rom-com, which ostensibly this show is. But you don't have to. You just have to know what they're kind of going for. You have to understand that whatever they do, sometimes they're acting against their best interests, and you want them. You can cringe at what they're doing and wish they would stop doing it, but you really want them to kind of come around. And even if it's not your particular happiness, you want them to be happy within their own worlds. Same point, if they got happy, then the show will be over. Which I love how this season ends. That, there we go. Stolen cat. This cat will come back later. But the way that this season ends, I alluded to it earlier, if it had just ended then and the series had never gone on, I could kind of imagine how they would go on together and try to live there. Now we don't have to, because we're going to get season 2. And the show earned a lot of trust in this first season with me to think that we're in pretty safe hands as it goes in episode 2. And speaking of, episode 2 has just ended, so that is going to conclude this thing. Hopefully it's entertaining. I think as a DVD commentary it was kind of crap. But if you're watching along and you want to know sort of my thoughts about the process, there's enough give and take that hopefully it would work out pretty well. So, Castiel and Hochu, yeah, I think Sunday Fun, the brunch, that Sunday Fun Day thing was one that really was like, all right, I'm in love with the show. I'm kind of ride or die with it at this particular point. So, thanks to everybody who followed along, who participated. Yeah. Everyone's a recumbent bike. I mean, come on. There's so many good things about this show. I don't know if we'll see how the reaction to this is. I might do ones later in the week. I may not. Mo, Ryan, and I will definitely talk about Season 2 of You're the Worst on our particular podcast, Talking TV with Ryan and Ryan. I'll also write about it over at boobtubedude.com. I'll probably at least live tweet the rest of my rewatch as I'm going through. So thank you for bearing with me on this little experiment. Hope it wasn't too painful. Thanks, everybody, and take care.